gratitude, appreciation for all of those remarkable leaders, Senator Portantino in particular, Attorney General Rob Bonta, who drove this effort last year and will be driving it as we initiate the new legislative session this year. To all of those that hold perhaps an even more extraordinary title, and that is leaders with moral authority, those with moms that demand action, and Brady and Giffords, none of this is possible without you. None of California's progress in gun safety has been possible without your extraordinary leadership and your capacity to distill the essence of what this is all about. And I will assure you, having spent the latter part of the last 10 or so days visiting with victims of violence, 2 mass shootings, one in Half Moon Bay and, of course, Monterey Park. This is brought into form and substance that only furthers my resolve to continue California's rightful position as a leader in the gun safety movement.
With the ushering in of the new year, several states across the union have new gun laws that took effect on January 1st. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms, your NRA certification of multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. And if you like channel, like content, and what I do, you can support me with the link. Everything is appreciated. And once again, comments on gun-related channels are being scrutinized, so they're being removed without notice. If I remove your comment, I will tell you that I am doing so and why. Just be aware that is happening. Let's talk about this. And with the new year coming in, and we're days away from a new president, thank God, we must realize that there are still numerous states that have gun laws that took effect on January 1st. And as you can so imagine, most of those gun laws are in states that have been anti-gun their entire tenure. So it's not surprising, but we should be up to speed on what is happening and how we are being affected. And as I read through all these new gun laws, I realized once again that they're not accomplishing the goal that they use to push these things through, which is safer communities. But I want to make sure that we're up to speed on what is happening across the country. So I'm going to bring you into here. New gun laws took effect on January 1st in states that expanded and restrict the rights to carry a firearm. Some Democrat-controlled state legislators passed legislation that includes secure safe storage regulations and training requirements. State legislatures with Republican majorities have new gun laws honing in on privacy issues. Colorado firearm owners who want to store their guns in their vehicles must now lock them in a hard-sided container out of sight, and the vehicle must be locked with some exceptions. Later in the year, on July 1st, any Coloradian who wants to apply for a concealed carry permit must complete an 8-hour training class, which includes a written test and a live fire exercise at the range. The law will also ban anyone who's convicted of certain misdemeanor offenses from getting a concealed carry permit, which right now there are so many cases in the courts about this specific issue when it comes to domestic violence and past felonies that they're going to have a problem with this because it's probably going to end up in court. But they don't care. It's not their money they're spending to defend it. But if those offenses happen within 5 years of the application, in Minnesota, a law went into effect on Wednesday that bans binary firearm triggers, a modification that enables a gun to fire one round when the trigger is squeezed and another when it's released. University campuses in Delaware are now part of the safe school zone, which makes it a felony to possess a firearm on campus because that really stops people from coming on the campus with a gun if they're out to commit a heinous act. But New York, not to be left out, now requires gun dealers to post signs cautioning their clients about the risk of owning a firearm, and the state is establishing a registry of extreme risk protection orders. This will prohibit people from temporarily owning guns if the guns are deemed to be a danger to themselves or others, which is just a modification of red flag laws. California, you know they're going to get in on the fray. Similar to New York, now requires gun dealers to give their clients a pamphlet that shows the motivations for and risks of firearm ownership, including the increased risk of death to someone in the household by suicide, homicide, or unintentional injury. Quote, this new law, AB 1598, is just another effort by anti-gun Democrat Governor Gavin Newsom to discourage Californians from exercising their constitutional right to become gun owners, said Alan Gottlieb, chairman of the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms. Quote, why not force car dealers to provide a pamphlet to each customer telling about the dangers of driving, as we have just seen in New Orleans, as we just saw, not so recently, but Waukesha, Wisconsin. He wondered, owning a car, especially in California, is more dangerous than owning a gun. More people were killed in traffic accidents in 2023, the most recent year for which data is available, than from gunshot wounds that year, but they don't care about facts. Other gun control measures went into effect in California, including a rule against applying for more than one handgun in a 30-day period. The bill eliminates an exemption for private party transactions. However, this rule is tangled up in court, so California's Justice Department won't enforce it for now, USA Today reported. Another California gun control law that took hold will broaden considerations for a gun violence restraining order to include threats of violence, specifically threats made against groups protected by hate crime laws and threats of violence to advance political objectives. Quote, California will wait until the next school shooting or mass shooting to act, Mr. Newsom said in a statement. In the absence of congressional action, our state is once again leading the way by strengthening our nation's leading gun laws. And if you remember, I did a video on California where they are literally leading the country in gun violence related incidents. Kentucky and New Hampshire aimed at legislation prohibited assigning a merchant category code, and I've talked about it a lot. That's when you use a credit card to buy a firearm, ammunition, or any gun related accessory. Is a specific MCC code that can be easily tracked to see what you're buying and where you bought it, which, once again, is being challenged. Both states joined more than a dozen others that passed this kind of law since the International Organization for Standardization established a code for gun retailers as a way to classify businesses by the items they sell. Other states like California and Colorado passed laws this year that force credit cards to assign unique codes to stores that sell firearms. Okay, let's go ahead and come out of that. So there it is. Once again, they're putting the onerous and the burden on law-abiding, not only store owners, but gun owners, in this ridiculous notion that they're going to reduce gun crime. They don't care about other crime. As we see, think about it like this. The incident in New Orleans happened on January 1st. When's the last time you heard anybody talk about it? Think about if he'd used a firearm. Now, let me be clear. I want to absolutely bring it all to the forefront. He did use a firearm where he engaged police. He wounded some police officers, but nobody was killed. But they have already put this story on the back burner. Probably the next time we'll hear about it is maybe when this guy goes to court, and they may bring it up in a brief news clip, and that's the end of it. And that's pretty much how it always goes. Same thing that happened in Waukesha. They talked about the event. Then the next time we heard about it is when this guy went to court and was convicted. That's it. To this day, we still haven't heard about the victims of Waukesha, and we still, at this moment, have not heard much about the victims of what happened in New Orleans. So that is, in a nutshell, is what's going on and what has happened since January 1st. A lot of laws are kicked in that now, once again, puts a burden on law-abiding gun owners while the criminals continue to do what they do, because not one of these laws addresses crime. They never, ever address the actual problem, which is criminal activity. They get to run rampant, especially in California, while at the same time, they're putting the burden, as I repeat that word again, on the law-abiding. None of these laws are going to do what they claim it's going to do. Once again, it's just the death by 1,000 cuts on the Second Amendment. But we should be aware of what's happening, and as law-abiding persons, unfortunately, we have to abide by them. But none of this is going to prevent what they claim it will prevent when they push these things through. It's always just about safer communities and protecting our children, and it's just amazing to me, and I always have to bring this up, that these people always talk about protecting children, and every single one of these states promotes abortion up until birth. So it seems to me your child only matters after they leave the womb, and only when their death can be exploited for political and agenda gains. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.